If truth be told, it was a matter of Levi's words regarding the investments. "Oh yeah, don't you worry," said Zoe suddenly. "I'll pay back the 5 million, hopefully we can reel in some investments as soon as possible." "There's no need for that. Why are we even discussing this topic?" Levi smiled. "But you also have to pay back the money, no? How are you going to do that? You haven't got any money." At that, Levi nodded. "Once we earn enough money from this project, I'm planning to get a house." "It's inappropriate of us to stay with Mom and Dad," Zoe added. "Do you still remember our marital home?" asked Levi, remembering suddenly. "I do. You designed that villa yourself, and it was perfect." "What a waste," Zoe sighed. "I'm going to take back that villa," Levi said. "That villa belongs to the Garrison family now, Levi. Don't do anything reckless." "You can't fight them," Zoe persuaded. "Don't worry." Levi was determined to take back what the Garrison family took from him. The next day, Zoe was busy looking for investment while Levi stayed home. He wanted to let Zoe run into a stone wall before making the necessary arrangements. Aaron and Caitlin looked at Levi, who was smoking on the couch, their brows furrowed and they looked sullen. "Put out the cigarette and come with me." "I have something to tell you," said Aaron coldly, glaring at Levi in revulsion. Levi stubbed out his cigarette and followed suit. "Dad, just fire away." Aaron's brows knitted tightly together into a deep frown. "Are you not aware of our situation now? I think we're good." Levi smiled. "We got the project, and as long as we reel in some investments, Zoe and our future will be bright as day." "Yeah, and it's because Zoe has a promising future, you're at risk." "What?" Levi's expression changed from delight to puzzlement. "You should know that once this project is accomplished, Zoe's net worth will increase by a few billion. She'll gain a foothold in Northampton in the future. Do you think you'll still be worthy of her then?" Aaron said solemnly. "I'm not questioning your abilities, but you have to understand that you just came out of prison and things are different from 6 years ago. It won't be easy to start a business again. The gap between you and Zoe will only grow." "That's right," Caitlin agreed. "You're lazing around and doing nothing all day. You don't even have a decent job. Do you think you're worthy of my daughter?" "Exactly. Just imagine how humiliating will it be for Zoe if you're still her husband by then. We will find a proper time to discuss this with Zoe regarding your divorce. This is for the best, for both you and Zoe. Just prepare yourself," Aaron sighed. Levi chuckled. "Mom, Dad, is this what they mean by burning the bridges?" "What do you mean, burning the bridges? Do you really think that it was you who secured this project? You only butt in a little. It's because of Zoe's ability that we got this project, okay? Yeah. In simpler words, this matter has nothing to do with you." Levi could only give a half-suppressed laugh in this regard. "Rest assured, Mom and Dad. I'll make Zoe the happiest woman in the world," Levi proclaimed. Caitlin glared at him. "And how do you intend to do that? You don't even have a house. I could have believed when you had that big villa before, but now you're just a pauper with zilch. Not to mention, you're staying at my house. Aren't you ashamed? Just leave for a few days. I don't want to see you for a while." "Yeah, Zoe has been busy recently, and she's easily distracted when you're around," Aaron added on. Having been kicked out of the house, Levi wasn't angry. This was what he owed Zoe. Downstairs, a Rolls-Royce Phantom pulled over. Azure Dragon got out of the car and greeted, "God of War, after you." Levi got into the car. Aaron, come, quick. Caitlin, who was watching through the window, suddenly shouted. I think Levi just got into a luxury car. Aaron hurried over and saw a Rolls-Royce driving past his house. That's a Rolls-Royce Phantom. The car owner must be a big shot. How could have Levi gotten into this kind of car? Aaron said quickly. I just saw a figure from the back who looked a little like him. I guess I worried too much, said Caitlin with relief. If he can afford to drive a Rolls-Royce, would we even be staying in this 100 square meters dumpster? Aaron snorted. You're still hoping on this gigolo? Yes. I hope he starves to death. In the car, Azure Dragon asked, where to now, sir? To the royal villa. I must take back my villa. Sir, I've found out that the person living in your villa right now is Matthew Green. He's the current general manager of Skyline Media under Garrison International. He's currently Ashton's trusted aide. After betraying you, he immediately devoted himself to Ashton. Ashton was Levi's uncle, Jacob's son. He had a reputation for being a man about town. And it was he who said that he wanted to marry Zoe at the banquet that day. He had been coveting Zoe for a long time now. Levi's gaze went cold at the mention of Matthew. He was once his trusted aide, his henchman. It was Levi who promoted him. If it hadn't been for him, he would have committed fraud and gone to prison. Levi could still remember that after his downfall, Matthew had become the Garrison family's lackey who immediately contacted the media reporters to smear his name. He had even forged a good deal of evidence of Levi's supposed crime and successfully sent him to prison. Thinking about how Matthew once looked respectful before him, Levi found it ridiculous. Very soon, he arrived at the royal villa. Standing before the villa that he personally designed, rage bubbled just below the surface of his mind. The nerve of him to stay at my marital home. Die. Upon noticing the two of them, the villa housekeeper came out and asked, "What are you people doing here and who are you looking for?" Levi grinned. "I'm here to look at my house." "What? Your house? Are you sick in the head?" "I'm telling you, the owner of this villa is Matthew Green, Mr. Green of Skyline Media," the housekeeper sneered. Levi tugged his lips into a wider grin. "Then did Matthew tell you who was the previous owner of the villa?" "You think I care? I only know Mr. Green." Right at that moment, a Porsche Panamera pulled in. The housekeeper immediately went to open the door. Matthew, dressed in a suit, came down with the secretary supporting him at the side. The secretary, who was dressed in business attire, was hot. Her long legs wrapped in black stockings were especially attractive. Seeing that they came back together, it was obvious they were up to some shenanigans. "Who are these people?" Matthew asked. Displeasure was written all over his face as he looked at the two people standing in front of the villa. Levi slowly turned around. In the split second when their eyes met, Matthew got the shock of his life. It just so happened that he had gone on a business trip during the Garrison family's celebration banquet, so he didn't meet Levi until today. Meeting Levi right now, he could feel nothing but blind terror. It differed from the rest of the Garrison family. Matthew had a psychological fear and awe for Levi. Especially since he had done something despicable toward him, he couldn't look Levi in the eye. "Life seems good, eh, Mr. Green?" Levi asked with a smile on his face. What are you doing here?" Matthew asked, trembling. "I'm here to have a look at my house." Levi sized up the villa. "This villa has nothing to do with you now. So leave," Matthew said, bracing himself and looking at Levi. Levi smirked. "And if I don't?" Matthew's secretary, Queena, glowered at Levi. Who do you think you are? How dare you behave like a barbarian? Leave now. Or I'll inform Mr. Ashton, and you'll be sorry for this. At the mention of Ashton, Matthew suddenly got a newfound courage and he retorted, Levi Garrison. Taking into consideration that you were my boss, I will not make things difficult for you. So please leave now. Who do you think you are to make things difficult for me? Levi disparaged. Why don't you take a look at yourself in the mirror, Levi? You're a nobody now. How dare you talk to Mr. Green like that? Queena sneered. Get down on your knees and crawl your way out.